Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me, Tom? Isle of Man to Major Tom. Can you hear me, Tom?
Oh, hello. Yes,
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It's not working, actually, is it?
I'll come back in.
Okay, say something.
Hello. Oh, that maybe is better.
Ooh, that richness. We've definitely got a microphone.
Great.
Hello, are you well? Oh, good. Well, it's so wonderful to be here in, And so I'm gay. I don't know if I needed to explain that. And if you've seen me before, I'm still gay. If anything, it's getting worse. And I'm completely gay as well.
We're going to get you here on the Isle of Man. We're so excited to have you. You have been here before, haven't you?
I have. Well, a long time ago, I supported Sarah Millican there, and so we were in Douglas in about 2016, I think. So a while ago now. Also, when I was an actor, I filmed on the Isle of Man a couple of times, particularly a thing called Tom Brown's School Days for ITV. So I was there for a few weeks. Yeah, I remember it very well.
What are your, dare I ask, what your lasting memories of the Isle of Man are? Be kind.
Well, actually, it was very nice, very green, and Douglas was very nice. Yeah, we wandered along, went to some nice restaurants, and yeah, people were very kind. So it was lovely, really. Yeah, it's I'm looking forward to being back on the 6th. It's actually the coronation day. We're going to be there, so maybe we should do some sort of reenactment of that.
Yeah, right. Royal visit for you, especially.
Yes, exactly.
So May the 6th. That is the date. This is a whole new tour, all new content.
Yes.
And it's based on the fact you've finally grown up, apparently, Tom.
Well, I like to think so, yes. But after a long time of living with a couple called Dad and Mum, I finally moved, got my own place, which has been lovely, but a little bit stressful as well. Like, you've got to look after the place, and you've got to suddenly deal with things like foxes coming in the garden, and I have to try and scare them away with banging a saucepan. People don't know if I'm scaring away a fox or trying to thank a nurse. Yeah, it's been very fun there, having my own place and trying to feel like a normal adult. Sorry, yes.
A normal adult? That's an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I said that, really.
Well, you know what you should have done? You should have thought about the Isle of Man, because we don't have foxes.
Oh, is that right?
No foxes.
That's interesting.
No foxes.
Maybe I'll bring one
snakes.
over, shall I?
Oh, it'll be all through the local headlines. That will be Tom brings fox to Isle of Man.
No foxes and no snakes, did you say?
No foxes, no snakes, no badgers. However, we have a family of escapee wallabies from the wildlife park that have taken up residence. Yeah, we now have wallabies all over the Isle of Man. There's some content for you.
Oh, that's extraordinary. Oh, wow, how exotic.
So you're going to share this whole sort of journey for you, really, of finally moving out of the parents' house. And apparently you've got some veg on the go.
Well, yes, I haven't got them this year, but last year I tried to grow some things. But the thing is, you plant plants of, like, say, you think you can have runner beans, or you think you can have peas, and you end up with like 4 of them. And so you go, well, that's, you kind of think you're going to have this bountiful harvest. And you've got sort of like 1 cherry tomato and 4 sugar snap peas. And it's not. It doesn't really fill you up, it seems. Although my spring onions did go a bit wild. I had loads of those. Too many, actually. Too many spring onions. Yeah, I don't know how those farmers do it. They really deserve a lot more respect, don't they? So it's a lot harder. But potatoes, actually, I grew, and I was very proud of those. Very pleased with those. I do recommend growing some potatoes if you get a chance. They taste totally different. So things like that, and herbs. I do a few herbs, but that's mainly on the windowsill. But it's quite calming, I find. And in our world of looking on social media all the time, it's quite nice just to put the phone down and suddenly just tend to a garden, really. So I found myself kind of, well, what I've always felt really is that I live the life of a sort of 65-year-old woman from the 1950s. So I'm just sort of embracing that now. I'm going to be 40 in a few months. So I think, well, that's who I am. I basically am Miss Marple, just with fewer murders.
That's always good to know. You can bring your foxes in, but don't bring your murders. Thank you very much.
Don't bring your murders, yeah.
So
is Miss Marple on the Isle of Man, is there? No. I'm sorry.
No, we don't get TV here, so you're all right.
I'm feeling very energised, actually, and very excited. This is my first time on the other side of the bench. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time co-hosting Bake Off the Professionals. I have no doubt that I'm going to perform exquisitely. Fly, my pretties.
So, I mean, have you been inspired then through the various sort of cooking shows you've done to grow these things and then make stuff from them?
Oh, that's nice that you think that. No, I mean, I have worked on a number of cooking shows, and you'd think that I would be good, but in truth, I'm actually not. I'm rubbish. But I like the idea of it. I've got lots of cookbooks and lots of the sort of I've got a nice kitchen, but when it comes to cooking, I'm actually a bit rubbish and don't have any discernible skill. So that's always regrettable, isn't it? But I try my best. I try my best.
No, beautiful, isn't it?
Nice
Beautiful.
crack.
Thank you, but what do you think about the shortbread?
Looks hideous, but...
No, stop it! Oh, you're such a flirt.
And I think everyone has this idea of being this kind of Nigel Slater meets Hugh Fernley-Whittingstone meets Nigella Lawson kind of person who just sort of, spends all day growing a courgette and making something exquisite with it and just having this pared back, simple life. But in essence, most of us are so frantic, just trying to get through the day, working hard, dealing with social media, dealing with emails that seem to be up in our faces all the time, that you're lucky if you have, a slice of toast.
Well, and at the end of the day, what can you really do with, 4 peas and a sugar snap? I mean, what can you make from that?
You know what? It's a pretty bare risotto, isn't it, with that?
It is a little bit. It's all right, though, because you've got the 1950s frock and pinny on the go, so,
That's right. So I've got the dress up. Yeah, exactly.
Breadcrumbs, breadcrumbs, breadcrumbs.
I take it if you were to be an entrepreneur and, try and impress on that there other show, you wouldn't do something that's kind of produce-based then?
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think all those apprentice candidates, they do work very hard, don't they? And I don't think I would. I don't know if I would, if I'd thrive in that environment at all. I don't know what I'd sell, really. You've got to have something that's profitable. Certainly not growing vegetables in my garden has not been profitable. I think, you've got to have something very clever to sell. But I'm full of admiration for those apprentice candidates. We have them all on our show, The Apprentice You're Fired, and they're always very, very sweet, actually. I think they get, sometimes people on social media are like, oh, I could have done that. Well, you sort of want to go, well, yeah, but you didn't, did you? So, give them a break. And they do, they're very industrious. They've all got great ideas about, various things, actually, they think that might turn into a business. So they're much more impressive than I am. I just make fun of them.
Charming. Well, you know what? That's what you're there to do. It's all good.
That's my job, yeah.
Stephanie gave us quite an insight into her trip to Magaluf with the girls back in 2011.
The whole purpose of the task was to go down there and catch crabs.
Do you prefer the TV side of it then or the on stage, if you had to choose between one of them? I know it's a horrible question.
Well, no, I mean, I like them both. And I did stand up for a long time. And I've been a stand up since 2005. But when I first started, I really didn't know what I was doing. And it took me a long time. And I think that I sort of got better at stand up and got to do more television sort of after about 12 or 13 years. About 13 years I was doing them. And then I suddenly sort of understood what I was doing a bit more and then got to do a bit more of both. And frankly, I just like being busy and I like getting to meet different people and I like going to different places. So for me, I enjoy both of them in equal measure, but they're quite different. Obviously, with this live show, there's that live experience that I adore, that you have, whoever's in the room are the people who are going to be there, and whatever happens, and it can't ever be replicated again completely. So I like that. And I think especially after the pandemic, I think those live experiences are really powerful, and even Zoom has its benefits. But then, during the pandemic, we were having those Zoom meetings, and it doesn't feel like it replaces normal life. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but on Zoom meetings, I don't really look at the other people at all. To be honest, it could just be a landline with a mirror in front of me. I'm too busy looking at my face, my chin, what angle suits my chin best. So I think those live interpersonal experiences are really, really treasured now after the pandemic.
You're absolutely right. But there must be something about, though, isn't there? Not that I've experienced this, but, sort of having a whole crowd of people laugh at something you've said. That must be the most extraordinary feeling.
Well, for me, I think with stand-up, it's about, you have to sort of share your insecurities. You have to share something of yourself. And people laugh because they go, oh, I felt that as well. and you feel it's a very nice feeling, hopefully, because other people go, oh, I thought I was the only person who felt that. And you go, oh, I thought I was the only person who felt that. And you feel kind of connected to each other in that way. And I think that's very powerful.
And I got invited to this hen party recently. It was my friend Kate from school, and it was being organised by her chief bridesmaid, Emma. And Emma is, how would you describe Emma? Emma is passive-aggressive. And so we all got this email from Emma going, hi guys, hope you're well. It's Emma here. I'm organising Kate's hen party. It's been really stressful. Actually, oh, shut up, Emma. Don't do it then. She said, I kept the costs really low because I know you guys can't afford very much. Rude. And then she said, please read all the information. I've kept the information really brief, so please make sure you read all the information. Anyway, she hadn't kept it brief at all. I thought, I'm not going to read this. I've never read Proust. So I did what anybody would have done, and I ignored it. And then, 2 weeks later, I got another email from Emma going, hi, Tom, hope you're well, which I knew she did not mean. She said, I needed to hear from you for my spreadsheet.
So it is a lovely feeling, lovely feeling. And like I say, just to be all together with people. And I like travelling to places that I might not necessarily have gone to otherwise. So you go to places that, I mean, the Isle of Man is very beautiful, but other places that aren't, tourist destinations or whatever. But there's always something interesting. There's always something to take from it and interesting people to find out about.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll give you plenty of fodder. But you've had that.
Oh.
You're going to have your notepad out, aren't you? From the second you land on the island, you'll be writing little notes for future shows. Yeah. It sounds like you've had a sort of similar reaction and similar connection with people through the book that you wrote, the memoir, obviously, which was sort of in part about your father, wasn't it, as well? It seems like you've had some really good connection about that too.
Well, yes. I mean, I've written 2 books now. I wrote one called No Shame, and last year my second one came out, which is called Too Much. And yes, with both of those especially, I think with a book, you owe it to people, I think, to be true to yourself, because people take you on holiday with them in the form of the book, and they take you to bed with them. So, you kind of owe it to them, I think, to share your kind of true self and the experiences you've had, and you try and be honest about that. And I think what books, and I think stand-up gets a chance to do this, is it shows a bit, you can show a bit of nuance, and you can show a bit of the grey areas and the kind of detail of life. Because I think we live in an age when everything's so online, and we just sort of jump from one thing to the next, and we're outraged, and then we're not outraged, and then we're, it's all sort of so kind of extreme and so kind of quick that actually a book, as I say, a stand-up show allows you to spend time and to explain the world as you see it. And with the books, I found, I like to explain the complexities of things. And in the first one, I talked, I suppose, about coming out, really, but also about sort of being an eccentric teenager in suburbia. In the second one, I talk about grief. And often both those things are kind of oversimplified in film and television with, a bit of sad music underneath. But the truth is, you don't always cry at the moment they expect you to cry. You don't always cry at a funeral, but you might cry when you're walking in the supermarket and you look at some trifles because you remember your dad really liked trifle, and that's not convenient. And I'm always drawn to the moments of life where human beings aren't sort of convenient. They aren't kind of tied up with a bow. Human beings are very complicated. And as I always say, if they were straightforward, if life was straightforward, I'd be out of a job, because I think it's my role to explain how complex life can be.
And with such sort of humility, but also humour as well, which sort of I think really helps, doesn't it? People just love to have that sort of humorous twist on things. It sort of takes the edge off, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah, some people tell jokes to laugh, but some people, try and laugh just to get through the day. And I think that's a wonderful human instinct, is to make light of situations and to giggle at the most serious moments. And I mean, funerals are funny, because everybody's they can be funny anyway. We went to a funeral where, it was after my dad's one, but there was an undertaker who wore a very sort of bold purple waistcoat and a striped trouser, which with a walking cane and a top hat, I mean, made him look like Willy Wonka. And then we went into the crematorium, and the first thing I saw was a sign that said what to do in the event of a fire. And I kind of thought, well, isn't that why we're all here?
Oh dear, that's brilliant.
So, you kind of find things to laugh about, even in the bleakest of times. And I think that's a noble.
Would you ever sort of like take the slant of writing a novel then, do you think, from having written this sort of...
Well, I'd really like to do that actually, and I've got a bit of time this year. I was going to try and have a look at doing that. So I've always really liked storytelling, and that's how I try and approach stand-up. Really, is telling stories, and I'd love the idea of doing that. I've always really liked the bold characters of people like Dickens, actually, and that sort of satire. And I think we live in quite a pompous age again. I think people forget how pompous we are. People take themselves very serious, very earnest, and they're very performative. People are very keen to make a show of like, oh, of course, I'm the kindest, I'm the most noble person. I only think the best things, and I think that it's kind of funny to poke fun at that. I always think, again, coming back to social media, but I always think like, a lot of the time, the people who comment on social media are probably the same people who in the old days would have turned up at a public hanging. They're that sort of, they're that kind of piety, aren't they? So I kind of like the idea of poking fun at that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm intrigued to know. I won't keep you much longer because I know you're very, very busy man. You've got potatoes to try and grow.
I've got potatoes.
Exactly. So I want to know from you, because I know obviously you've got lots of pals who are comedians, but who is the funniest person you know? Is it a comedian, or is it just sort of someone in your friends and family network?
Well, it's probably my mum actually. My mum's always sort of instilled in me a sense of what's funny and what's not, and she's always the one who sort of pokes fun at characters and situations and people, and has always taught me so much about that, and has always had she was the one who educated me in comedy and sort of in a much broader way than I would have had ordinarily. I think she was the one who would like tape things that were on late at night, and things like Spitting Image, for example, or One Foot in the Grave, or Keeping Up Appearances, or or would get me to watch kind of the Pink Panther films, or would get me to watch Carry On films, I think, which probably I connected with more than anything. And I'd really loved Kenneth Williams, and my mum got me to, would tape anything with him on, or, things like that. So I'd say my mum has got the sort of broader sense of humour and kind of is responsible for my style of comedy. And even now, like my mum, when she had jobs that she didn't enjoy, she'd always say, just see it like, she'd actually say, see it like you're in a Dickens novel. And she would just sort of see all the characters as kind of big sort of pompous people that could have like funny names, and actually the world becomes a bit more bearable. And I guess it's like what you say, the world is a bit more bearable if you can laugh at it, take a step back and see it for what it is.
Oh, it absolutely is. Well, we can't wait to have you here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to having you. It'd be so nice to have you, just you all to ourselves without, I know it's lovely to have you here with Sarah, but now we get you for a full night.
Oh, that's very generous. Oh, well, thank you. Well, maybe we'll do something regal as well to celebrate the coronation.
Tying the coronation, we need to bring some foxes with you. Try and avoid Miss Marple-esque murders.
Yes, I try and avoid any murders, I promise.
Yeah, that would be great. And at one point, I would like to see you dressed as a 1950s housewife.
Well, that's fine. That's easy. That's my travelling clothes, so that's fine.
Excellent. Tom, it's an absolute joy speaking with you.
Oh, thanks for having me. Great to speak.
I will. Yeah, we'll see you when you're here on the Isle of Man.
In a few weeks. Yeah, can't wait.
A few weeks' time. May the 6th. Get your tickets now, people. Villa Gaiety. It is going to be an absolute blast, I've no doubt.
Oh, can't wait. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Apollo.